Hello, welcome to question 2 of the Cambridge IGCSE reading paper. So that's paper 2 and the syllabus is this one, 0522. But this is the same as the 0500 syllabus for people studying outside the UK. So this candidate also has 4 things to write about in their paragraph. Well, what this short dip into what my students have done is that it's told me that they are good at this skill. They already know how to find imagery. They're good at it. And if my students are good at imagery, the chances are that you are as well. So the problem isn't finding the imagery. The problem is going to be how to write about it in the exam to get the marks. Now, as you know, if you've watched my other IGCSE videos, the examiners have this phrase that they're looking for. They want a dictionary definition of the imagery you've found. Now, the problem with this is when you study literature texts, you never write out a dictionary definition. You leap straight into the meaning, but not the literal meaning, the effect on the reader. You use words like suggests, or shows, or implies, and these words indicate an explanation of the effect on the reader, which is what we do in English. However, in this exam, the examiners want the dictionary definition first before you write about the effect on the reader. So let's look at this answer up here. The kids' eyes are described to have lit up like light bulbs when they see the winter wonderland. Well, that's fine. But the quotation is lit up like light bulbs, and this candidate has started to quote it and then forgotten to finish the quotation, and then in any case is repeating the quotation here. So they're wasting time. However, we'll just mark it from here. The phrase lit up like light bulbs is a simile. That's correct. Now, the examiner doesn't require you to say it's a simile, but it's a good idea to do so because it just helps the examiner know that you're a candidate who understands what imagery is. And therefore imagery. Good. So the examiner knows that. But then this candidate leaps to show the reader how. And they completely skip this part, the dictionary definition. They've jumped straight to suggests and implies, except they've used the word show. Now this is typical of a candidate who's good at English literature. So this is obviously a student who's very good at English, but I'm assuming it's a he. I'm just making that assumption on handwriting, sorry. This candidate is not going to get the full marks because they haven't done this step first. It's really difficult to make this step because it goes against what you've been taught in 5 years of English at school. However, you've got to do it to get the marks in this exam. So we'll see later in the video how you put the dictionary definition in. Okay, let's go back to the explanation. To show the reader how excited they are to be there, that's probably just enough of an explanation. The candidate himself has realised that this might not be detailed enough and has started to add some more, but it's a summary. And he'll get no marks for that. You don't have to include any kind of summary of that individual quotation. In paragraph 4, the alliteration of workers wrestled means that they were fighting and pushing each other. So by using the word means, she's forced herself to give the dictionary definition of wrestling. So fighting and pushing each other. Okay, the emphasis of the W conveys, so this is the word she's using to say the effect on the reader. The anger that they pushed each other with. So she's probably got the marks there. She's given the effect, which is anger. Then she goes on to her next quotation. The isolated sentence of it was hell, now she's using the word means to give the dictionary definition, means that the experience was horrible. Okay, and now she's giving the effect on the reader, may possibly convey how hot the train was as hell. How hot the train was, there should be a comma there, as hell is associated with heat and fire. This portrays the train, it should be as being instead of to being, a place that people wouldn't want to go. So that's definitely a full explanation, no problem there. She's definitely got the marks. Next, she moves on to her next quotation. The simile, correct use of simile, like sardines. Now she's giving the dictionary definition, refers to a type of fish that is canned, okay, and now she's going to talk about the effect on the reader, which gives the effect that it's very cramped on the train instead of plus it may illuminate that there is a horrible smell in the carriage. So because she's such a good candidate, she's offering a second explanation, which she probably doesn't need to do. One explanation would do up to here, but because she's able to write so quickly, she'll get away with this. She'll still be able to give two explanations, but she doesn't need to. So if we go back up to here, she's done the same she's done the same thing. Hell means that the experience was horrible. That is slightly short, so her second explanation helps here and conveys how hot the train was, and that explains how it was horrible. It was hot. So there you have it. That's how to get full marks. 3 quotations analysed fully here with dictionary definitions in such a short space, and so you can see, I hope, that you don't need to write that much to get your full marks. She needs 1 more quotation for this paragraph, and then she'd go on to 4 quotations in the next. Okay, well, the final thing that I have to show you is this idea of the need to write an overview. So in your overview, you have to give the effect of the whole paragraph. Now, the problem with this is that this instruction is in the mark scheme. This instruction is not in the question. So unless you've been taught this, you won't do it. You'll just write about each of the 4 quotations, and you'll think, oh, that's all the question asked me for, I've got full marks. But the answer is no. You need this. You need that overview, even though the question doesn't ask it. Deeply frustrating for you, but hopefully you won't make that mistake of leaving it out. So let's have a look at this overview. The overview of paragraph 5 is the true divinity of London at Christmas time and how it can warm the hardest hearts. So a very neat phrase here, only needs to be 2 lines long. Definitely got the full marks for the overview. Let's look at this writer's use of quotation. So the phrase cotton wool cloud, it is a simile, but you don't have to point that out, so no marks lost here. Means, and then S should be on the end of means here, but means gives us the dictionary definition, that the clouds were white and fluffy, resembling cotton wool. Excellent. The effect on the reader is, well done. That's exactly what you should do, because you're telling the examiner, okay, look, here's my effect on the reader with means, here's my dictionary definition, is that the sky is also getting ready for Christmas by dressing itself in white clouds, which could resemble the peace and snow of Christmas time. Now, I would never have made that link. It's a really brilliant one. The examiner doesn't have any answers that they're looking for, so you've got an effect on the reader which is beautifully explained. This feels like a full A-star answer to that one quotation. It's an A-star answer to that overview, and so this candidate just needs 7 more like this, 3 more from this paragraph and 4 from the other. So hopefully that's given you a real insight into what you need to do to get 100%. Like the video if it's helped you, and if you want to know more, follow some of the links to the other IGCSE videos. Thank you very much for watching.